Hello, everyone. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum, Toronto edition, with Kevin Brewer, President and CEO of CMC Metals. Kevin, welcome, and thanks for being here.
Hi, Peter. Great to be back with you again.
Wonderful. So, Kevin, let's jump right into it. CMC has multiple projects in Canada. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the overall strategy that you use to prioritize and advance these projects?
Well, we have what we call a pipeline model. And what we try to do is we try to bring a project. We've got 8 projects in total, and we try to bring a different project into drill ready stage every 18 to 24 months. It de-risks our portfolio to our shareholders. We always have something to fall back on, which is important in this business because there, frankly, are no guarantees in exploration. So it's always good to have a contingency plan.
Excellent, excellent. So recent news from Amy near Silverknife and Coeur's Silvertip. So this is an exciting area given what's going on with Coeur d'Alene's mine Silvertip. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about their activities and how potentially that could impact your activities, your properties that are adjacent.
Well, we're both in what I consider to be an emerging silver district. We think it's vastly underexplored. It was explored way back in the 70s and some in the 80s, but basically untouched. There's been one mine discovered in it. It is by Coeur Mining out of Chicago. They've got the Silvertip deposit. It's one of the highest grade underground silver-lead-zinc mines in the world. And as you say, that company has prioritized their activities. In fact, they're going to contribute about 45% of their exploration budget to this area. They consider it's so important to their company growth. And we're going to ride on that success. I'm convinced we've got 2 great properties very close to them. These style of deposits, they come in clusters. So it wouldn't be the least bit surprising that we're next door to them, that we're going to find a deposit like Silvertip, which is going to be a lovely, what we call carbonate replacement deposit, or a CRD as it's commonly nicknamed. And so we're looking forward to that excitement.
Excellent. Now, if I remember right, some of their mineralization tends to run right up towards the border.
Yes.
With your property.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and what their recent activity has been and what it's planned to be in terms of drilled meters, etc.?
So one of the techniques we look at is a thing called conductivity, and that's because silver is a conductive mineral. So if you look at the conductivity map, you'll see a connection from Silvertip sort of westwards over through Silverknife and right across our property. In some of the old reports, there was some isotope studies. It's kind of an academic kind of study, but it genetically linked the Silverknife prospect to the Silvertip deposit. So we know there's a lot of linkages in terms of geophysics. In geophysics, we see those linkages. But we see it also in the structure, in the systems there. There's a lot of parallels in the where we're looking for their deposits and where they're looking where they've had success in their discoveries. So there's a lot of parallels in this and a lot of connectivity in that whole system. So it's a huge system. We think there's lots to find within it, and that's what we're going to try this summer for sure.
All right. So you mentioned that they've committed a big portion, 45% of their budget towards this mine and looking to expand that. Have they stated the number of meters that they plan to drill and over a certain amount of time, how close that is to your property?
Well, first of all, Silvertip is within a kilometer of our boundary. And some of the new areas they've been exploring are actually within a closer area. It's on a north-south fault structure. So there was a new discovery called Camp Creek West. It had some of the best intersections they've ever had. And so, we're in that same system. They are going to conduct 250,000 meters of drilling in the next 3 years. I don't know specifically how much they're going to do this year. I know that their plans are to extend their underground adits and drill from their mine portals down towards the south, and that will pick up those structures on the Camp Creek West. So we're on some of those north-south fault structures as well. There is a cross-cutting northeasterly fault structures throughout the belt that have also found where you find all the mineral occurrences in that area. So these are exciting times. We think we're in the right geology, the right geophysics, the right geochem, and as I say, location, location, location. We're in the shadow of the head frame.
Exactly. Now, in your presentation a little bit earlier, you talked about some of the grades that have been drilled on this project. Can you give us a little bit more insight on that?
Well, the old Silverknife prospect, it had over 500 grams a ton silver. It had over 3 grams of gold, 4.6% zinc, and some high lead. And that's very typical. You know, even at Amy, the historical drilling on that prospect, which is only 7 kilometers to the west, had an historic resource of over 700 grams a ton silver. Very impressive grades in these systems in this area. And whenever I pick up a rock close to the surface, either at a Silver Hart project or where I see mineralization on our Amy, I'm seeing some amazing high-grade mineralization right on the surface in both of those projects. And you can always tell because it's so shiny and so heavy and all this kind of stuff. So that's it's easy to spot, and it's very high grade all the time.
So that's some pretty dense rock.
Oh yeah, some pretty dense rock, and we use that density actually to find good prospects. So the Silverknife drilling is based on that whole density. We did a gravity survey which measures density, wants to look for those heavy rocks, right, that lead and zinc that's really heavy, and the gold comes along with that lead and zinc. So when you find a gravity anomaly, it's a very good indicator that you've got a great chance of finding a CRD style deposit.
Right. Now, I've heard you mention before that you have equipment that you can use out in the field that allows you to scan some of these samples. Am I right? Grab samples and so on, that tells you what is in those rocks.
Well, in the interview today, you raised the question of what technologies do we have, and the XRF, it's an X-ray diffraction, but it's like a little gun, and it shoots a microscopic spot of the rock. But, you hold this instrument and 30 seconds later, it's telling you a whole bunch of elements, including lead, zinc, silver. We've done we played with it a lot this summer, and we're finding clear correlations of where we find good XRF data with the actual assays at the end of the day. So this kind of tool is great. You can use it on your drill core. You can use it on your rock samples. You can even use it on your soil samples. So it's a great initial tool, and you can use it also to select material to go to the labs. And that can save you a lot of money as well. So these tools, they've gotten a lot better over the last 10 years, and frankly, it's worth the investment.
I can see that. So let's kind of round things out by having you tell us a little bit about your Newfoundland properties, and then maybe you can tell us, give us your last thoughts in terms of what viewers can take away from CMC.
Okay, since we last talked in Vancouver, we have issued some news on Rodney Pond. It's a very early stage project, but we did the ground magnetometer survey on it. We found various fault structures as a result of that survey that are related to the copper occurrences we have on that property. It's got to be mapped. We got to get out there and fully prospect the property. So extremely early stage. The Bridal Veil is a whole different story. It's on the east side of Gander. We've got golden soil anomalies. We think that these are parallel structures to the big Queensway Newfound gold system. We think that that has had some regional impact as well. And it wouldn't be the least bit surprising that some of those northeast structures that are in that area and on that big system they're working on are also on neighboring properties like our Bridal Veil property. So we've got to get out there again, work the ground, sample some more, try to find gold in the rocks, because we got it in the soils, and we got to follow up on those anomalies and see what we can find.
Excellent. So last thoughts in terms of what viewers should take away from CMC?
Well, again, it's a great conference, first of all, to be here at Metals Investor Forum in Toronto. I love what Metals Investor Forum do for us. CMC we've just been valued by Fundamental Research Corp at 31 cents. We're trading at 14 cents. We're CMB on the market, and I suggest to everybody, look at us, track us, buy us at a low. I think we're almost at the bottom now, so don't wait too long. We'll get there, and we're going to generate value for our shareholders. We always do, and we continue to hope that we can do that in the future.
Excellent. Kevin, thanks so much for your time here today.
Right. Thank you, Peter.
Pleasure.